The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18 plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
I am your host, Stassi Schroeder. Welcome to Tell Me Lies, the official podcast. What's the most unhinged thing of season 3?
Steven, because he's so evil.
I do think he is misunderstood.
You see everyone face consequences. It's intoxicating.
The writers just know how to trick you.
There's always a twist in this show. It's nothing you would expect.
Tell Me Lies, the official podcast, now streaming, and stream the new season of Tell Me Lies on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
I'm not happy with Netflix. No, I don't know Lauren. I don't know her, Lauren Kanarek, or her father, Jonathan. But reading the piece that she wrote, the systems failed me, but I will not let them silence me. Her piece is great, very courageous. And knowing the story, it does seem like Netflix fumbled the ball here in a big way. I don't know why, because the story... it's pretty easy to figure out. You got this guy, Michael Barrisone, who's an equestrian trainer, I guess a coach, whatever. And you got an attractive young lady, and he's sending her all these lewd and gross text messages like men do all the time, especially in sports. And eventually he tries to kill her. He shoots her. It doesn't seem like there's a lot to confuse here. But from what I'm reading from Lauren... and the dad is about to tell us, I guess Netflix found a way. So with that said, here is Jonathan. Jonathan, good morning, pal. How are you?
Good morning. How you doing? Thank you for having me on.
Of course. Where are you today? Where are you in this country?
Livingston, New Jersey.
Oh, beautiful place. Livingston, New Jersey. Very nice. And
right, but of course, by way of Brooklyn long ago.
Oh, okay. Me too. Where did you live in Brooklyn?
I just lived there for a short time. I went out to Long Island the time the Levittowners were going out there in the late 50s. So.
Funny you say that. My last guest was Bill O'Reilly, who grew up in Levittown. He's a Levittown guy. Yeah, how about that?
I heard Bill O'Reilly on the show on Monday anyway when I was driving. And,
good. So you listen to the show. That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Not as much as when I was working and driving, but whenever I can.
Oh, did you drive a truck or something? What did you do?
No, I worked on Wall Street and had to drive into the city every day, and that was the 90s, so I'd listen to, Imus and Bernie, Which Doesn't Belong and Why.
Ah, very good. So you've been with us for many, many years. So were you a trader? What did you do down on Wall Street?
Yeah, I was a trader. I was on the international equity desk, which at the time, international was, if you own Sony, that was a foreign stock. You're trading international stocks, or Glaxo, right. A UK drug company. So right. I worked on Wall Street, which is a great career. I'd gone to law school and got a law degree and an MBA, but Wall Street was a great place to be, fun and exciting at 9:30 every morning when the tape started running.
No doubt about it. We did a lot of shows from there, Lewis and I. What was his name again, Lou? Our buddy, the bald head.
Dick Grasso.
Yes, Dick Grasso. That's
Good
right.
man.
Yeah, he was a great guy, Dick Grasso.
Dick Grasso, yeah.
Wasn't he great? He was great. All right, so give me, Lauren is your daughter. How many children do you have?
I've got 3 daughters.
3 daughters. Is Lauren the youngest, the oldest? Where does she fall?
No, Lauren is the oldest. I have 3 daughters. Lauren is now 45 years old, and my other daughters are 41 and 39.
Okay. So we are coming up on the 7-year commemoration. It's not an anniversary, I'm sorry, folks, of that horrendous day for her and for you and everybody who loves Lauren. August 7th will be 7 years. So she's 38 years old. She is an equestrian. She's been doing that, I guess, for a long time. You'll give me the details. This guy, Michael Barrisone, was her trainer, her coach, whatever you call it. He had been texting her very lewd and grotesque things for a while. And on this specific day, August 7th will be 7 years ago, he nearly kills her. The bullets destroyed her left breast. Her left lung exited her back. She said she flatlined twice in the 30-minute ambulance drive to the hospital. Thank God she's alive. I really want to meet her. Thank God she's alive. But tell me what happened here and why Netflix wouldn't tell the real story.
That's a very interesting question. Since the shooting, There's been so much disinformation, a lot of it intentionally. It was 2019, just before COVID. So after the shooting, Michael Barrasone spent 2.5 years in jail awaiting trial, which didn't happen until April 2022. And while in jail, realizing he had no defense, they somehow decided their only hope was the insanity defense, which never works. John Hinckley may be the last guy who was able to show that.
Right.
As the Netflix show pointed out, even Jeffrey Dahmer, who ate his victims, and John Wayne Gacy, killed 33 men, no, they couldn't shoot the insanity defense. Insanity defense is when you take a machete to people on the subway platform or kill your family, not when you say, I think I'm mad at this person, so I'll kill her.
Right. No, he's mad at her because she didn't accept his advances. How long, let me ask you this. How old was your daughter when she first started training with this guy? And how long did all this go on, these text messages and all that, before that awful day?
Well, it's interesting. The sexual harassment and all sort of came out after the trial. I mean, Lauren, comes from a tough family. Both of her grandfathers, my dad and my wife's dad, were, World War II veterans. Both her father shot down over Germany, a prisoner of war. My father spent 6 months in a hospital in England. So she's from tough stock. And she was 38 at the time, and Barrasone is sending her these messages. But, it's like with every woman in business or with sports. If you complain, you go to HR. There's no HR on this, but you go to HR, you give up your dreams. You get thrown out. They may listen to you, but, you're not going anyplace. You have to give up your hopes and dreams, which I'll get to in the story about the other young girls who went through this and had to give up their hopes and dreams. But it was more about Lauren lived on the barn. This fellow, Michael Barrasone, had his much younger new girlfriend living there. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And this girlfriend didn't want Lauren there, didn't want a bunch of younger girls who were there, and did whatever she could to get rid of them, and, told Michael Barrasone over and over again that Lauren was horrible. But Michael never wanted Lauren to leave because she was his most dependable source of income, and continued to bring new horses all the time. Mike would say, bring another horse, bring another horse. And in the story, and which Netflix did, they try and say that Lauren harassed them by posting things offensively on Facebook. Forgetting a fact, Michael Barrasone never had a Facebook account in his life, but his girlfriend saying, look what she's posting. And, it had nothing to do with Barrasone. I don't mean to drone on, but just to give you an example, Lauren might write a Facebook post, not to Michael Barrasone, just talk philosophy, saying such and such will destroy your life. It could have been cigarette smoking will destroy your life. Netflix puts in bold, destroy your life, 3 words from a 500-word essay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and another example, she's talking to her cousin online about Broadway theater, talking about Hugh Jackman singing, look out, because here I come, and The Greatest Showman. They just show the words, look out, here I come. Michael Barrasone. She was threatening him by saying these things on posts that, weren't Facebook posts. Weren't to Michael Barrasone, not the sort of thing members of Congress get every day, just a regular post, and they went through them and, found the line, and they can do that with anybody. They could do it with my Facebook post, not that I'm on it for anybody's.
Right. So was the girlfriend ever in trouble in this case?
No, the girlfriend was never in trouble, unfortunately. Say Sport, I don't know if you've heard of them. They're an organization created by Congress in 2017 as a watchdog, sort of after the trouble with the female gymnast and Dr. Larry Nassar and all, because there's a lot of sexual harassment going on in sports that no one hears about unless some news organization breaks it. And I have a lot to tell you, and I know from my history with you, you're the guy with the gravitas to get attention.
There's no question about that. So they came out in 2025, and your daughter actually said that her spirits were lifted because they permanently banned Barrasone from the grounds of a United States Equestrian Federation licensed, endorsed, or sponsored competition for reasons of sexual harassment, emotional misconduct, which violates its governing bodies. According to the Safe Sport website, his violations are subject to appeal. It's not final yet, but like you said, at least Safe Sport took some action. Why do you think, John, if you had to theorize, you or your daughter Lauren, I'm sure he's had these conversations, why do you think Netflix made him look better and your daughter look worse?
I have no idea other than, I guess, for ratings. I mean, they approached us. There had been a previous episode on the CBS crime show, 48 Hours, which is an outrageous lie. And Barry Weiss wasn't there at the time, but I'd like to get a hold of her and have her watch the show and apologize to my daughter and fire everyone associated with that show, because that was a pack of lies. And Netflix got in touch with us shortly after this, got in touch with me and Lauren and said, we saw the show, it was outrageous lies. We want to do a show, giving you a chance to write the record. We'll even do a split screen showing 48 Hours Lies along with the truth. And they, come after us, and we had other people wanting to talk to us, and they said, this is Propagate, basically. And we're on Netflix. We have, hundreds of millions of viewers. We're the place to go. And we eventually signed up. Shortly after signing up, we came to realize they were lying to us from the start. They didn't want to tell Lauren's side of the story. And Lauren had said, the one thing we don't want is a he said, she said. We want to tell our story. They said, fine. And right away it became apparent they wanted to do a CBS Part 2, telling Barristone's story that he was driven crazy by Lauren.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, Lauren is, from an outside standpoint, she's the victim here. She's the one that you fall in love with. Barristone's the bad guy. Do you have a political history? I'm being serious here, because Netflix, there are a bunch of liberals over there. They love Letterman and Obama, and CBS as well before Barry Weiss. Are you guys known Trump supporters or anything like that?
No, the only bad thing about me is I'm a Met fan.
Yeah, well, that can hurt you. All right, so there was nothing out there politically that would make Netflix or CBS say, I don't like Lauren because she went to a Trump rally. Nothing like that.
No, not at all. And the showrunner came to me and I'm in New Jersey. He said, he's a Jersey guy. I can't go to Good Bagel out there and try to be my best friend. And
right.
Obviously, we'll say whatever he had to say to get. And then as soon as we signed on, was in bed with Barristone, and they came to talk to us in Florida and heard our story. And I said, here's the lies their lawyers told. And, don't even want to get into the criminal justice system, which we were talking about Monday with Jonathan Diller and all, how horrible it is. But,
right.
To lies and lies to the jury. And I expect every defendant to get a vigorous defense. They're entitled to it. But their attorney lied and lied and lied. And, so did they. They'd seen the show and wanted to, I have no idea why they lied to us. I mean, the best reason we have, this show was initially called the Dark Horse Project. That was their original name for it, the name they were going with. Barristone, after he shot Lauren and we were going to sue him civilly, it's a lot better to get shot by Bill Gates or somebody who has a lot of money than by Barristone. But he got shot by Barristone. He was getting rid of his assets, and he sent his horses to this farm, someone he knew who, not coincidentally, is called the Dark Horse Farm. And Untold is decided this show should be the Dark Horse Project. I mean, that's too big of a coincidence. Untold, Propagate was getting their information from a close friend of Barristone and urged to do the show, and we called them out. They changed the name to the shooting at Hawthorne Hill rather than Dark Horse Project.
Now, where exactly is Hawthorne Hill? I'm just curious.
It's in Long Valley, New Jersey, about 45, 55 minutes west of Livingston.
Got it. And how is Lauren today?
Lauren is, okay, and I keep urging because she's so upset and she gets death threats all the time. First because of the 48 Hours show, and now because of the Netflix show. Calling her horrible names because they believe she's, some entitled woman who got what she deserved because of what she posted on Facebook. But she's okay physically. She's riding her horses again.
Wow.
We're trying to get through this, and we hope to, shine a bright light on this, particularly about the sexual harassment, which had less to do with Lauren. Barristone, as you read, is banned for sexual harassment. That has to do with 16-year-old girls who came forward during the.
Do you know how many girls exactly, Jonathan, complained?
Well, there were a couple of young girls living there when Lauren got there. They were called working students. They had equestrian dreams, and there were three of them. One who actually became a complainant. I mean, there are other girls and women who are so afraid of Barristone that he's back out of jail, out of a mental institution, living in Florida. They carry a mace, and they might have talked to Sace, but some of them said, don't use my name. But this one woman and her sister and others were brave enough to come forward and say they were good Christian girls from North Carolina back when they came there. And Barristone stole their childhoods with his nonstop sexual harassment, giving them hooker names. Your name is Sparkles, telling what the back of a minivan was for, talking about their panties. And that's what Safe Sport banned them for. And my concerns, and one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, you mentioned he's appealing this because he thinks no big deal. His lawyers have said the punishment doesn't fit the crime. So what if you ruin some 16-year-old girl's child and ruin their equestrian dreams, All
right, well, I'm with this. Your daughter wrote at the very end of her fine piece, I was the victim. I am the survivor. Lies will not erase the truth. You guys are welcome to come in together anytime you want, John, you and Lauren. But at the very least, I hope I can help you a little bit here today. CBS and Netflix should both be ashamed of themselves. And Michael Barrasone, your worst day is still coming. Trust me, wow. All right, listen, John, great job today. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. I look to talk to you further.
Thank you. We will. John, right there, that is Lauren's dad, John Kanarek.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?